Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel and welcome to this video. This is John from Programming Knowledge, and this is part 11 of our video tutorial series on how to create an e-commerce website using React.js. And in the previous tutorial, we have added features to our checkout page and applied CSS styling for our images, for our product title, for our product price, and of course the rating. We also added the button remove from the cart, remove the item from the cart, as you can see here, and we also applied the CSS style for that and made it like a yellow color. Now in this video guys, we're going to be adding the total display. For example, if we add like 3 items in our cart, then we should be able to get the total price of all the products inside our cart. Now what we could do is open up our subtotal file, okay, and subtotal. Here we have the proceed to checkout. As you can see here, we have proceed to checkout button right here. Now we will be adding elements to this so that we will be able to see the total of items that we have. But for now, let's just open up our checkout.js file, and in here we will be adding more logic, and also we're gonna check if the basket is greater than 0, because if the basket has no items, then there's no point to display this particular component right here. So this is another component, which is the subtotal. Now what we could do is here we have added this checkout right. Now before displaying this particular component or element, what we could do is check if the element or our basket has items So what we could do is open up curly braces and then check if the basket length is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, that means that we have added item to our cart, right? So greater than 0, so we will be using the shorthand for this shorthand condition. So if this is, or the basket is greater than 0, then display this particular component or element. So copy this and paste it here. Again, what we're doing is trying to display, for example, the basket length, or our basket has item, then we will display this particular element which contain the subtotal component. So let's try this. Save our checkout.js file and let's try to remove our items from the cart, and it should also clear the proceed to checkout button. Now if we go to our home page and try to add products to the cart, then we should be able to see the proceed to checkout button right here. And of course we will be adding the we will be adding more elements to our subtotal, because that's the subtotal component right here. And let's go ahead and open up our subtotal component. So subtotal, and here of course what we could do is try to get also the content of our basket. So that's constant, and then cons basket, we're going to be using the state of our basket, and dispatch equals use state value. Okay, and inside here we're going to be using the currency format. As you can probably remember, we have installed this particular component, currency format. This is just to format our pricing to make it more appealing to the user. So subtotal, and then we have here proceed to checkout button. So in here we're going to be adding the price, or meaning display the price of all the items that we have in our cart. So what we could do is add a currency format component right here, and of course we're gonna add different attributes to this. So the first one is render text right here equals, and then curly braces. And what we could do here is add a function that will get the value. Okay, and then we will do something about this particular value right now. So open parenthesis. In here we will be adding, for example, a paragraph tag. This is just to display the pricing. Okay, so that will be subtotal, and then open and close parenthesis, and we're gonna be adding basket.length and then items. Okay, so strong, we're gonna be adding the strong element right here, and of course the value. Okay, and then open and close curly braces again, and then we're gonna be adding the value. So p tag, and then in here we're going to add small. This is for maybe we don't need this anymore. Okay, and before closing our currency format, let's add another attribute to this. So this will be decimal scale, and then this should be 2, and value of this will be get cart total, and then of course the basket. So we could define this particular function inside the subtotal, or maybe we could use this the reducer file, whatever we want and however we want this to define the get cart total function. Display type equals text, and then 1000 separator. We're gonna be adding the 1000 separators. If for example the price reached $1,000 or something, so we're gonna be adding 1000 separator, and the prefix for this is $sign. Okay, so as I've said, we're gonna be defining this get cart total function, and we have an option to do that in the reducer file, but also we could use it inside our subtotal function or subtotal component. So what we could do is try to use cons and then get cart total, and this should take the basket as the props, or I mean the argument, and we could check if the basket is not empty or something, and then we could use reduce function. Reduce function is just like each or for each in JavaScript, and also map. And the difference is that this is for array, and then the purpose of this is of course to make the element of our array to reduce and return a value. So that will be amount, and then item, and of course we can get the item price plus amount. There you go, 0. Okay, you could save this and use state value. We need to import that coming from our state provider. So import and then use state value from state provider. There you go, save. And there you go. As you can see, we have display here subtotal, and then 4 items we could remove from the cart, for example, and it will be updating real time. And what we could do now is try to add styling to our checkout button. For example, this will be, let's add a class name for this so that we will be able to add styling. So checkout button, save, and then we're going to open the subtotal.js. So let's try to add that subtotal.css, and then inside our functional component, let's import the subtotal CSS. So that will be subtotal.css. There you go. And we could target the checkout button. So for example, the padding for our checkout button will be, I don't know, maybe 8 pixels. There you go. And we could also add margin to this. Margin like 5 pixels. Okay. And what else? Maybe target the subtotal also and add padding. Padding will be 10 pixel for our subtotal element. There you go. A bit better than earlier. So this is the checkout page, and in here we can remove the cart, and then we can say we can see the, what do you call this, the total of the products that has been added to the cart. Okay, so the next step now is to like add limits to the login user or signed out user. So in order for us to do that, let's go ahead to header.js, and in here, let's make it bigger. In here you can see that we just statically display the sign text right here, and also the user text, which is not the ideal behavior. What we want is, of course, to display the actual name of the user and try to display sign in or sign out based on the state of our user data coming from our data layer. So what we could do is add here, instead of only the basket, we're gonna be using also the user, and we need to import this, or yeah, we already imported this use state value coming from a state provider. So we're going to deconstruct the state of our data layer utilizing the basket and of course the user. Now we could perhaps remove this, and in here what we could do, in here we can define the function. So const and then log out user. So the purpose of this is to, if the user is signed in, then we want the user to be able to log out from the website. So if the user is true, then what we could do is make use of the auth variable and then sign out. But before that, let's just import this coming from our Firebase. So import and then auth and then from Firebase. There you go. And in here, auth.sign out. So again, the purpose of this is just to be able to log out or add an option for the user to log out coming from our e-commerce website. So in here, what we could do is add a link to sign in or to sign to sign out. So sign in, what we could do here, let's just check if the user is signed in or not. So open and close curly braces, and then if user is not signed in, then this will be the path to the to this link will be /login. Okay, and then what we could do here, we can add on click event to this. So on click, and then try to log out the user. Okay, after that we could try to check here, or add the email perhaps. So user question mark and then email. So this is just to display the email of the login user. And here we could also try to conditionally display sign in or sign out. So if the user is signed in, then we will display sign out, and if the user is signed out, then we can display sign in right here. So let's save this and check to see the output. Okay, so as you can see here, we now have sign in displayed here, and we also have an one item. So we could click on the sign in, and we should be able to redirect to this particular page. And from here we can try to log in or create an account, and we will be redirected to the home page or to the dashboard of our e-commerce website. So for example, user1 at gm.com, and then we're going to add password 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then create your Amazon account, and there you go. Okay, so I think we need to update this. Let us check. So we are already logged in, but the text here is still sign in. So what we want, if the user is logged in, it should be sign out right here. So user, and then user email, hello. So basically the user is not defined, right? Let's try this. Sign in, user1 at gm.com, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then sign in. Okay, so we still have this. Okay, so before we could add the user right here, or before using the user variable right here, we need to make sure that we are tracking the authentication changes inside our application, so that whenever our user tries to log in or log out coming from our Amazon website or e-commerce website, then we should be able to track that particular user and maybe change the state of our data layer variable or data layer. So from our app.js, we forgot to make use of the user here and the authentication. so that we could track the log in user or log out user. So for now, let's just import the authentication coming from Firebase. So auth, and then from slash Firebase, and inside our app we will be using the state of our state variable, or I mean the data layer variable. So basket also, and then dispatch, and use state value. There we go. And in here we will be using use effect. So import so we need to import use effect. Import use effect from React. Okay, so let's save that. Use effect from React. It's still compiling our source. Okay, so we're getting this. Use state value is not defined. So what we can do is try to import that. Use state value from our state provider. Okay, so save, import in body of module reorder to top. Okay, so import in body of module 943 app.js. What are you doing there? Or I don't think we're using this particular one. We could probably remove this. Okay, and in here inside our app component, what we could do is try to use the use effect. So that will be use effect, and then all we're doing here is just trying to monitor our user. So use effect, and then we're gonna be adding the empty array, and in here we're gonna be using the auth, and then on auth state change, then we're going to get the authenticated user. Okay, there we go, and then curly braces, and in here we check if user auth is defined, then we're gonna dispatch an event which is of type set user. I think that's what we define in our reducer, set login. So app.js, and that will be set login, and then of course the login user will be reducer login user is the authenticated user. So user auth, there you go. Otherwise, we're gonna dispatch another event, and then we're gonna set the login user to null. So dispatch, we're gonna just copy and paste this, set login, and then it should be null. So save our app.js, and let's try this. Type error, dispatch is not a function. dispatch is not a function. Okay, dispatch. Okay, so dispatch not a function. What we could do is try to add the unsubscribe variable here. So unsubscribe, this will be the return for our use effect. So unsubscribe equals on auth change, and then user auth, and then dispatch, and just right here what we could do is return, and then open and close curly braces, and then the unsubscribe function. Okay, save, and we're still getting this particular output, dispatch login. Okay, so we're gonna be using the user here, user. Okay, reducer, where is it? Reducer. So login user app.js. So instead of basket, we're gonna be using the login user. What else? And of course, this is a silly mistake. Let's just remove the curly braces right here, and then use comma right here. Save that, and we should be able to get our output. And let's try to check, sign in, and then we're gonna be using user1@gmail.com or gm.com, and then the password, and then sign in, and still we're getting null user. So what we could do is check console.log, and then the user comma, and then login user. So save that, and let's try to check login user. So we're getting this particular output. Okay, so user1@gm.com. So basically we have the login user. So let's go to our header.js, and we're gonna be using login user right here, and also here. Okay, logged in user. So save. Okay, login user, dispatch. Okay. Okay, so I have to pause the video in order to troubleshoot that. The only problem that we have is this keyword right here. From the reducer, we have this action.user. Okay, so we need to use that also inside our app.js. So we're gonna be setting the user into the authenticated user, and also we're gonna dispatch this particular event. For example, the user is not logged in, then we're gonna set the user into null. So that's the problem, and as you can see here now, we have the link for our sign out, and also our email, which is displayed right above the sign out text. Okay, so I think that's all there is to it in this video, guys, and in the next video we're gonna try to add filter to our products. For example, we want to filter our product, search certain product, and we're gonna do that in the next video. So again, guys, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.